And so then I said, we don't need to count them all.
No.
But we do, though. We do.
Do we?
Because that is how the democratic process works, yeah.
I mean, does it?
Well, apparently, according to the man with the nuclear warheads attached to a button beneath his tiny hand, we shouldn't bother beyond midnight on election night, because that's election night. Despite the fact that, votes still have to be counted, you turd bucket.
Pay no attention to the nuclear warheads behind the curtain.
Oh, no. The only reason you declare victory on election night is if it is a obvious, absolute landslide. That's the only reason you do it. And yet, everyone with a brain hole predicted Trump would try to declare victory on election night, regardless of the result, and then try to dispute the future result over the coming days. And he did exactly that on election night.
Predictable.
We're recording this on Wednesday, the 4th of November.
Yeah, so the full results aren't in yet. It might end up being a Trump victory at this point. We don't know.
But I know that my arsehole has never puckered more than it has this week. It's been 5p, 10p in rapidly that it may as well be my new way of breathing.
My arsehole's been blinking. I'm
going to put a mask over mine. Just so I don't exhale anything.
Well, I've got a mask over everything else. Oh, God. You're taking away my rights and making me wear masks over my arsehole. Can't do it. You're not taking away my freedoms. I'm not going to lock down my ass for a month.
Oh, speaking of...
Hello.
As of this episode, unless Keir Starmer and Boris Johnson beat the piss out of each other tonight in some way that makes sense... I'd pay to see that.
That's a cage match I'd watch.
We're back in lockdown as of the release of this here in the UK. Some still going to work, is Nibs on the other end of this Skype call.
Never not going to work, mate. Never not going to work, unless it's Monday, Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, well, or you could be like me. Every gig has now vanished. Completely. Every gig has vanished, so I'm going to be just selling pictures of one of my testicles. But I'm waiting to see what the result of the election is, because I'm going to paint it up to look like Trump or Biden. And I'll be honest, I think the wrinkles will be enough to sell the old man neck. I just need to find the smoothest surface to draw features onto.
Just do them both, and then you just put the right one up on your OnlyFans when it's ready.
Or do you mean physically put it up like Karate Masters, suck it up into my body?
No,
store it there.
Just have it scheduled on your OnlyFans, and then just.
I can't go near my OnlyFans. I can't go near my OneyFans. Quarantine, Matt. I can't go near them.
Okay, of course.
Hi everyone, welcome to Big Damn Testicles with Faces on. Nerdy news, geeky gossip, stuff that's fit to distract you for about half an hour, except not really, because we're talking about the world, so shut up. I am Chris. Why do we still have the Electoral College, Johnson?
And I am Matthew. It's not our electoral system. We're in the UK, Watson.
I know, but I think we're all clinging on to it for some form of emotional,
it's hope.
Moral win.
It's if the centrist left can win out over the far right, there's hope that we might be able to claw something back, because it's been moving so far right over the last decade. And as I say, as of the recording of this could age very badly. It's very tight, and we're not sure which way it's going to come down. And if it ends up being a victory for the far right, I think hope is gonna be lost.
Take a
for some
beating.
People.
Yeah.
And if it is a victory for the centrist left, then there's a chance that we might be able to push it further. And also, in terms of relations for our country with the US, are going to be different depending on whether it's with Trump or Biden, because Biden has been less than complimentary about Boris Johnson in the past.
Which is sort of, in terms of a human reaction, I'm like, good, yes, call out our current leaders on their shit. But of course, in terms of a country reaction, with what's going on with Brexit and all that shite, we're going to have to rely very heavily on the US. And if Biden can't be asked to do business with us because of Boris Johnson, then, I mean, on the upside, it may mean some difficulties for a time, but it may, but it may also mean that 4 years down the line, when we get to once again choose who's in office, barring some form of horrendous scandal or mishap in the meantime, then we might finally have a country going, especially the half that voted to leave the EU without really thinking about it or for shit reasons, we'll hopefully have them come around going, oh, we're fucked. Right, we need to go back in. Let's get people in who'd create better relationships with Europe, and let's etc., 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 etc. All I know is if Trump does win again, the Democrats next time need to have a candidate, because obviously they won't have to bother about Trump, except he will, because he keeps talking about having 14 years and all this stuff. And it's like, that's not even a multiple of 4, you fucking idiot.
Also, I don't think he's going to survive another 14 years.
I don't want him to survive another 14 hours. I want him to have a strop. I want him to have a strop on stage about this all being unfair and rigged, and then descend a tiny ramp, fall, and break his neck on the way down. Because that means he'll have at least felt some humiliation before he dies in a hilarious way.
I'm not one to wish death on people, but fuck that guy.
Yeah. Oh, I don't wish death on him. I wish a hilarious happenstance to lead to his eventual death.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kind of hoping it happens soon. I'm not saying I want you dead, Donald Trump. I'm saying I want to see your death be a hilarious event, Donald Trump, when the time comes.
To be fair,
I'd like it to be swift.
There is a hilarious event leading to most people's deaths, and it's called Their Life as Viewed by a Third Party.
Yes. The Democrats need to have somebody in 2024 who basically will beat the piss out of him vocally. Like, do you remember how we all kind of felt a little cheered up when Joe Biden went, "Will you shut up, man?" In the first debate, we all went, all right, we kind of want you to keep you cool, but at the same time, that was really refreshing to see happen. Next time, you just get somebody who's actually going to bollock him or whoever's, like, following in his footsteps. Somebody who's just going to, like, verbally bully the opponent, but also bring everything with them that is actually sound, solid, and a decent, like, plan for what they would do if they get in.
AOC.
It sucks that you have to...
AOC.
Oh, she would be phenomenal. She wouldn't take any shit. It would be wonderful to see her in a debate. It really, really would. I don't think it's going to happen because America. But, I mean, let's face it. I think a qualifying trait of any presidential candidate should be whether or not they can beat or assist someone in beating Beaver Bother.
Yes.
And we know that AOC has the capacity to at least understand Donkey Kong.
I beat Beaver Bother?
Oh, who are they sell the houses to, Ben? Fucking Aquaman.
That's the only reason why former Father Ted and Black Book's writer, whose name shall not be mentioned, has sort of fallen on hard times, because he didn't know how to beat Beaver Bother.
Yeah.
That's what it was. That's all it was. Yeah. It was
nothing else. As far as he's concerned, that's probably why.
That's all it was, and nothing else. Speaking of nothing else...
Nothing else? Hey!
Here's the rest of the show!
Ladies and gentlemen, fuck all's been happening, but we do have some dribbles and news. We also have reviews, because something wonderful happened last week, and I think we will probably touch on it week by week, let's be honest.
Why because it's not like there's fucking anything else going on.
Spoiler warning ahead for The Mandalorian.
Season 2, Episode 1.
2, Chapter 9.
Chapter 9.
That's not going to get confusing. But yeah, other than that, what other news has kicked off this week? Has there been anything really? It's been, media-wise, everything is slow to... Oh, Cyberpunk has been delayed. Cyberpunk 2077. Due to them needing a bit more time to finish it up.
I can't say I'm A, surprised, or B, bothered.
Well, that's the thing.
Beaver bothered, one might say.
Rumours were coming out earlier on this year that crunch was happening there.
Oh, yeah.
Declaring otherwise.
Definitely.
So either they have gone, yeah, this is a bad outlook, or oh no, we're actually terrible people if we force this, and have gone, we're going to put another 3.5 weeks on development for this game before we start shipping. Or they just legit couldn't quite fix a certain problem and have decided, yeah, we're going to get this done because they've looked at certain other big releases this past year, Avengers, and seen how people have very vocally and then financially been making an example of games that have been pushed out to full price that have been far from ready.
Was it
so
their transphobia? Was that the problem they were trying to solve?
Probably. Jeez. Isn't everything shit?
Yes.
No,
Yes.
because The Mandalorian came out.
Did it?
Mando came out. Oh
Did
my
it?
god. As part of your Halloween streams and leaking into November, you've been playing Alien Isolation over on twitch.tv/BigDamnStream. You've got further than we ever got when we did the initial Big Damn stream.
I have.
Spoilers for a 5-year-old game.
I have.
You know there's 2 of them, right?
At least one might say. Oh, hello. Jammy Dodger. Jammy Dodger Blondie.
You've been brought Bisguis. Oh, Blondie. Where'd you find them?
Sykes's, mate.
The Chippy have started doing blonde. Oh, well, I know where I'm ordering from. Jesus, I know where I'm ordering from during lockdown.
Yep, boy.
Christ alive. I thought I'd looked out today. We went to Costco with my dad and stepmom. And I bought one of their pizzas because I was like, I'm going to buy a fat-ass pizza for £8. You know the pizzas Costco do that are bigger than several children? I was like, I'll buy one. I'll have a couple slices for lunch, and I'll have a couple more slices for lunch tomorrow, and then I've got a couple to like snack on tonight if I'm still hungry after a big lunch. I managed half of it over the course of 4 hours. I was like, the rest of this is getting foiled right the hell now.
Yeah,
I'm dead inside.
I can't do this anymore.
But it will at least keep me fed for a few days.
Good.
And then I can go, right, Sykes on Uber Eats. For everyone's confused, Sykes is a chippy in our local area.
It's very good.
It's like the one that everyone always references as like, oh, what's the best chippy you had at Sykes?
It's the best chippy.
Oh, didn't even get to the end of my sentence, Sykes.
It's almost good enough to have Sheridan Smith do an ad about giving it Google reviews.
Yeah, that's been popping up everywhere.
That's been all over the place. And it's not... Who else has done one as well? Sheridan Smith's done one and someone else has done one. I can't remember his name. Anyway.
Fella. That guy from The Thing with stuff
That dude from The Thing.
That guy. Some see.
That dude. The Mandalorian. It's not The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about The Mandalorian because it's back.
We're going to talk about Mandalorian because you've been having your spacefaring adventures and you've been fighting against the evil creatures in space. So Mandalorian returning takes us back into the childlike innocence of spacefaring adventures.
It's never more has it been a space western than it was this week.
Oh, Jesus. I mean, hell, the title was, of course, as you said, The Marshal. We're dealing with a marshal, an appointed sheriff of a town way out west in the middle of the desert on its Bob Todd.
So
spoilers
ahead
we don't
for
start there.
The episode. Just a warning. We're not going to be shy
spoils. There's no major plot revelations in this episode, so if you're a little too worried about, like, should I stop now? I've not seen it.
There's a couple of interesting reveals.
Yeah, but we don't know if they are plot-centric yet going forward. They could have just been tasty little nuggets of fun. But we know we know that they're fan-pleasing, because I don't know about you, but me watching it, I was like, yeah.
On several levels.
Damn it, show. Damn it. You done it.
Well,
you're telling a story that doesn't need any extended knowledge of anything beyond just this show, and yet you've put stuff in that everyone who's seen the other stuff will go, oh, no.
Well, yes, because of course the titular marshal of this episode has been a character in other Star Wars media since the reboot of the EU.
Cobb Vanth,
who
played finally on screen by Timothy Oliphant.
Yes, and it's a character who was mentioned in Chuck Wendig's Aftermath trilogy.
Aftermath, yeah. Whereas here, he's in the flesh and exuding maximum daddy energy.
Well, he's basically his
big daddy energy.
His justified character.
Yeah, now you've said it.
That's basically what he's doing, because that character was created by Chuck Wendig in homage to that character. And now Timothy Oliphant is playing him. There we go. Things
So-
have gone full circle. Full
So
Star Wars.
Mando, as of the end of last series, sent out by the what was the name of the Mandalorian who forges
The
stuff?
Armourer.
What's her name? The Armourer, sent out by the Armourer. She basically went, right, your deal now. You've got to find where this little child comes from. The child. You have to find out where he comes from. Get him with his own people. Well, how am I going to do that? Find more Mandalorians. We're out there. We're scattered. We're disconnected. Find more of them. The more you find, the more you'll learn of our people's past. The more you learn of our people's past, the more you'll learn of the galaxy, and the closer you'll be able to get to finding where this kid belongs.
The Jedi, like the sorcerers from the old tales.
Yeah, well, that's the great setup for this series. Last series was pure Western shenanigans. I think this series is going to verge a little more on the mythical in places, but this first episode
they sort of invoke it with he's been quested to bring the child back to its own kind, so it gives it that sort of mythical air straight away.
I love how he's always with him as well. Like, he doesn't leave his side. It's just always there. In a little knapsack, in a little bag on the side of the speeder bike, like just always with him.
In his little hovercot.
Loving life. In his little hovercot. Right, can we talk about the opening? Because the hovercot is the star of that opening sequence. Yep. Jesus. So they're on one planet gathering information, looking for a Mando. Mando's looking for a Mando. And
is he though?
Well, is he though? Is he? A little bit. Kind of.
He is,
anyway,
though.
They arrived there, and I was getting some massive Attack the Block vibes from those monsters in the shadows. Like, even though we never really saw them, it was just this light of the eyes.
They were really neat.
That was cool. We enter an illegal, I was going to say cockfighting ring, but Gamorrean guard fighting establishment.
Yeah, Gamorreans. With which begged the question that me and Keeks had, how do you tell which one's which?
Yeah, they are identical from head to toe, yeah. I guess based on which injuries they get in the fight.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
Who am I betting on? The one who gave that one that bruise.
Yeah.
All right, okay. But yeah, so that was kind of nice. It was like, oh shit, Gamorreans, sure. We saw him in Return of the Jedi, all dolled up, guarding Jabba's palace. Now we see them in a bare-knuckle fist fight in a ring that's being bid on by a bunch of crooks and dodgy fuckers, including a partially CG, mostly physical affected Cyclops-like alien.
Hell of a design.
And it was John Leguizamo.
Yep.
What the fudge? Like, they are getting top-tier talent going.
Well, because I saw...
Can I be in it? Can I be in it somewhere?
When the credits came up at the end of the episode. Yeah. And I was like, oh, you'll be either under prosthetics or you just be voiceover. But when I saw the credits pop up, I was like, John Leguizamo... Who the fuck was John... Oh...
He was the giant space worm. But it's made me want to revisit this episode and listen to him a bit more and be like, yeah. But a great start. We get to see the multi-targeted mini rockets like doing their thing again, taking out a bunch of people in one go.
Yes.
Which is the highlight comedy beat of the... Because there's lots of funny little moments in this one. The highlight comedy beat for me is that moment where he's making it clear that he's going to take them all down, and you just see the child go, oh shit, and like lean back in his cot, but then lean out, press the button on the front, lean back, and the cot closes.
It's brilliant.
It's like, this is great. They've hung out long enough that this baby is like, yeah, I know where this is going. I'm gonna hide. I'm gonna get inside this pod. Oh, such good character work. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. So we get some Batman Begins style justice. Like, I swear I will not take you. I will not take your life.
Yeah.
And then he switches off the light, leaving him dangling there, so the shadow creatures will find him and eat him. It's true. He didn't take his life. It's taking us back to Tatooine. The intel leads him back to Tatooine, where there's apparently a Mandalorian has been hiding out there for a few years, quite a few years now.
We get to see Amy Sedaris, space mechanic, and her droids again.
Yes, with the what are those ones called? Pit droids. Yeah, from episode 1 and last series of Mando, rocking back up again.
Yep.
There was a lot of episode 1 references in this as well. There was quite a few episode 1 references specifically.
Yes.
Which was not a bad thing. It worked quite well. There was also finally a kind of explanation for a bit of set dressing in the original Star Wars film.
Oh, yes.
So C-3PO and R2-D2 are walking across the desert, and they just used whatever like prop the effects team had. They were like, "I've got this giant fucking dinosaur skeleton. Do you want to use that? Just put that on the sand dunes." Yeah, sure. So we've all seen that big long neck, giant spine, and a big skull. And this went, should we actually put those dragons in something? Now I know they've been done before.
They've been talked about before. I've not come across any Star Wars media in which they actually feature.
No, the one that I think the creature that Boba Fett is riding in his debut in the animated section of the holiday special is sort of a similar kind of shape. It's a big long brontosaurus type neck, and it's got a chunky little body. Whereas this just goes, oh no, you guys have no idea. It's a giant freaking worm thing that they refer to as a dragon.
It's Tremors.
It's huge. Yeah, it's Tremors. Star Wars does Tremors
on Tatooine.
So he gets out to Tatooine, learns that Mos Eisley. Now you got no chance. Mos whatever, you've got no chance. But there is Mos Pelgo. So what the hell's Mos Pelgo? It's another town on Tatooine's surface. But the Empire scrubbed it from the most recent maps. Can't remember why they did it now, but the idea is they for whatever reason they just scrubbed it. Like it's.
I think it was like a resistance or rebellion, or suspected of being sympathising, and then they just fucking wiped it off the map.
Ah, yeah. So
I think something like that. I have no idea.
Yeah, either they got rid of it, or it was like somewhere they used as a secret outpost, so they removed it from public records, so no one would find it. Also, it was involved in the Star War at some point.
Yes.
But Mando uses the older her intel of the older map, looking at the new one to figure out roughly where it is, and off he heads.
The older map displayed by R5, which is the same astromech that is nearly purchased by Lars.
He had a bad motivator. That droid had a bad motivator, Matt. You can't pin it on him. It's not his fault. But yeah, she's like, R5, come over. I just turned to Lucy. It was like, it's fucking R5. And Lucy, who loves Star Wars, went, ooh? I was like, bad motivator. She went, all right, yeah. It's like that line. That line does the job. So yeah, we track down Mos Pelgos, because this is apparently, allegedly, the last time the Mandalorian that came to Tatooine has been sighted. There's whispers of him being out there. Mando rocks up into the bar, the quietest bar we've ever seen in Star Wars. Because everybody kind of keeps to themselves, and also, budget.
It's a tiny town.
It's a tiny town, proper Western, like people on their porches when he arrives, and he's taking the long walk down the main street, and oh, it's so West. Like all it needs is gets into the bar, and eventually ends up meeting the marshal. Did you know anything about it before your watch of the episode?
I knew Timothy Olyphant was in it.
Yeah,
and I knew it was rumoured that he was Cobb Vanth. If not outright confirmed. So I pretty much knew what was coming. But I was just like, oh yeah, that reveal cool shot. Shit.
That reveal shot as they just slowly raise the camera on this dude walking through the bar, and you're like, hang on, that weird little one knee pad looks familiar.
Yeah.
Hang on. Fucking hell, he's wearing Boba Fett's armour.
Yep.
What is going on?
Which again, if you've read
Aftermath,
you'll know about. Because that was
Aftermath's where they suggest that, this was found on Tatooine somewhere.
Yeah. Battered and acid pitted and all messed up.
With nowhere to go. Because, again, back in Return of the Jedi, Boba Fett hilariously knocked by a blind Han Solo into the Sarlacc pit. And seemingly left there to digest over 1,000 years. Dude's got a jetpack. Broken as it may be, he clearly found a way out at some point. Although, we find out in this, maybe it was assisted. Because it turns out these dragon things have been eating Sarlacc pits.
Yeah, apparently so.
So, it's entirely possible, because of course the Sarlacc pit, you think of it as just a hole in the desert with teeth or a beak. And it's like, it's a big freaking stomach sat in the desert that has a little bit at the top that eats stuff. Like, that's what it is. If something bigger than it wants to come along and swallow it whole, then fair enough. And based on how they did it, maybe it spat someone out. So, yeah, that reveal shot, just pulling up to reveal this dude in the helmet and the chest plate, like the gauntlets and the bits on his knee and the jetpack. It's like, what is happening?
The jetpack / rocket launcher. Actually, I think you'll
finally, yes. Oh my god, Oh right, so that how last year's finale, it's penultimate, gave us the Stormtrooper personnel carrier.
Yeah,
the toy that existed but was never in anything, and then they went, well, how do we get the Stormtroopers into this scene? Should we just make that toy a thing finally?
Let's make it a real thing.
And how they made the bloody prop that was like a little ice cream cooler into a prop that has now appeared twice in the show. It's like, oh, these nerdy little references that like don't ruin it or it interrupt it or slow it down at all. They've just found ways to put them in and make it beautiful, folks. Make it tremendous, folks. Make it tremendous. That was the voice of ex-president of fingers crossed. I'm not jinxing it. Not on this podcast. But yeah, so armor of Boba Fett. There he is with, like you said, the jetpack that actually fires like all of the freaking toys have done at some point or didn't do for health and safety reasons. And prototypes did, etc. We finally get to see it launch a rocket, and it's like, yes, there we go. Timothy Olyphant as Vanth in that armor is the best like chilled cosplay I've ever seen. Like, they have the parts. I'm expecting the Black Series figure eventually to come out of this guy.
He's so fucking cool in this.
Suave as fuck. Because he makes it clear, like, cool. The man does just like, I want the armor. He's like, well, no, because I protect the people of this town and I use this armor to help me. It's like, so are we going to have a fight? Yep. Oh, shit. Okay, it's going to throw down. There's a bigger problem. Maybe we can work something out. Yeah. So this big old dragon's been devouring banthas. Poor bantha getting swallowed.
Also, before we get onto that,
yeah,
Timothy Olyphant played the sheriff in Deadwood.
Yes.
Yeah. The Weequay bartender is played by the guy who played the bartender in Deadwood.
That's brilliant. Oh, what a great bit of, again, fan service, but like in the subtle way. That's the best kind. That's so good. Oh, I didn't know that. That's really, really good.
Like, this is clearly made by a bunch of people who are like, oh, we like Star Wars and we're going to get some good names for it and we're just going to play with it. We're just going to play with the things that these people have been in before and we're going to do all sorts of references and we're going to really geek out about it. Yeah, it just makes me smile.
I mean, the biggest fanboy working on this show is the showrunner, and Jon Favreau wrote and directed this one. So yeah, he was obviously like, oh, let me play with these toys. Let me do this.
And definitely,
while I'm at it, I'm gonna show some Deadwood love, and we're gonna do this. We're gonna reference the toys.
Definitely crossed paths with Timothy Olyphant before, because he was in the running for Iron Man.
Ah. I don't think Iron Man would have had the lasting appeal had it been Timothy.
I don't think Timothy would have done Timothy first name
multiple movies.
I don't think he would have done a franchise. He doesn't strike me as the kind of actor who does franchises.
He's not a relationship guy. If you've ever read which one is it? It's Kevin Smith's Shooting the Shit with Kevin Smith, his second like memoir book. He talks about making Catch and Release, which is where Jennifer Garner basically decided she didn't like him.
Of course.
Which led to him and Ben Affleck sort of not talking very much when Ben Affleck married Jennifer Garner. But Timothy Olyphant was on that film as well.
Yeah, of course he was.
Fucking unpleasant to work with. It's oh, that sucks. But then you see him do interviews with Conan specifically, and it's like, you're really funny. Yeah. And very dry. Maybe you have learned and become a better person? I hope so, because I would like this team to go, we really like working with him. We're going to bring Cobb Vanth back at some point for something.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
Because that beard and that quiff, my God.
My God.
That is a beautiful man. A beautiful man who wants to save his people from a giant evil worm dragon creature that is eventually going to get tired of eating banthas and is just going to eat the town. So we get The Mandalorian as a show doing some really cool shit for Star Wars, including, humanizing the Tusken Raiders.
Brilliant stuff.
So well done. Like, Tusken Raiders, they want to get rid of it too for different reasons. We learn at the end it's because they want the meat, and there's a pearl. There's a freaking pearl inside it. Which at first we were like, is that an egg? It was like, well, no, that wouldn't make any sense. Oh, it's a pearl. Mm-hmm. Of course, why not? Like, we've got animals that randomly have just bits of jewellery formed in their body. Like, why the hell is that far-fetched for Star Wars?
It's another bit of weird Star Wars EU lore as well that's been sort of repurposed. The idea of a great dragon pearl.
It's beautifully done. And again, yeah, it's great because a few things are great with the Tusken Raiders in this. Tusken Raiders, in the original films and the prequel trilogy, are very much under George's jurisdiction, George Lucas's jurisdiction. George grew up in the 50s and 60s of America, in Hollywood, in a time where he and all of his peers were white people. He had no other sort of cultural experiences really in his life or introduced to him, and it shows a lot in his movies. He means no ill will when he makes these decisions, but it still doesn't make them decisions that are gonna, be completely ignored when the Vice Gunroy and everything in the prequels are clearly Asian archetypes. You've got the only character who sort of his entire trait is dealing with money is Watto, who has a very specific accent and a specific design. And the Sand People in the original trilogy, the Tusken Raiders, there's clearly some Islamophobia going on with that and fear of certain Asian territories, and it's used as shorthand. It's the whole old archetype from the serials of
it's a problem. A lot of
the savage who have their own way and they dress a certain way and they live in the desert, and it's it's
a problem that a lot of fantasy settings have, that especially the ones that are written in Europe, have with using South and East Asian cultures as sort of stand-ins for whatever sort of exotic cultures they want to talk about. They're usually very othered.
Yeah. Whereas in the Mandalorian series 1 and 2 now, they've kind of made a conscious effort with certain alien races of going, yeah, let's give them a little bit more mythology and background and a common ground that you, the viewer, can look at and go, oh yeah, me too. And as a result, humanize them a lot more.
Yeah.
Here, we learn that the Sand People, the Tusken Raiders, who have been framed so far as these horrid things that steal and kidnap and
they're raiders,
assault and stuff. Yeah, in this, they make it clear that this part of Tatooine, they were here first. Mos Eisley and all those areas built up around them over the last few hundred years. These tribes were here initially. They are the, indigenous peoples of this part of Tatooine. They raid and pillage to stay alive because they've had everything taken from them.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't necessarily want the same societies that have been built up around them. They don't want those things. They don't covet it. They just want to be left the fuck alone. And they defend their own territories.
Yep.
Which is, it's
Which,
oh
of
my
course,
God.
the
Yes.
invaders / colonizers don't recognize as their territories.
Yeah. And partially because of the mythology, the mythologizing of them at this point as well, of oh no, they're evil, they live out in the desert and they kill you, and it's maybe someone actually talk to them, which the Mando can, because there is a variation on American Sign Language used in this, which on Twitter, did you see the post I put out, some behind the scenes stuff that's being shared about it? Or
I didn't, but I know that the actor who's the lead Tusken is a deaf actor who helped to develop the Tusken sign language.
They decided they wanted the Mando to interact with them via a sign language, and they wanted to base it on ASL because they wanted their viewers who are deaf, who use American Sign Language or are training in it, to kind of spot bits of it in the display. And they just went, why don't we just craft it so it's 60% ASL and 40% our thing, and we'll get in a deaf performer to play the play the lead Tusken Raider, so that we can actually make this as organic as possible. And they work together, and I believe Pedro Pascal did shoot a good chunk of this one, because they talk about he like came along and did the workshop with him to figure out the movements. And it's like, oh shit, like that's them going, here's a thing we could do that'd be really cool, because it's some representation that doesn't distract from the fact we're technically in a place where you can't see, eye to eye as that's like me, because it shouldn't necessarily be like that, because it's space aliens and it's meant to be a bit different. So they found a way to incorporate it that was organic, not too weird, put in some little like variations so that people who speak ASL and use ASL to communicate would go, oh, so that's how people on Tatooine say this. And so there's a little bit of like the whole, the Klingon thing of, oh, I wonder what that says. I want to read it and see if I can figure it out. And also, just, the hiring of a deaf actor to not play a deaf part.
Yes. It's a neat...
Like, great. Well done, guys. Well freaking done.
Yeah. Something that you would be able to opt out of if you're using Spotlight to cast things. But that's a discussion for another time. Go and have a look on Twitter for that one.
It is freaking horrendous. Every day I go like, why am I paying for this?
Yep. But yes.
It's just admin and discrimination.
Yes.
So, yeah. That's beautiful. They want to get rid of the Dragon 2, so an uneasy alliance is formed. We learn about how Cobb Vanth got hold of the armor. We get another little fan favorite Star Wars race making another appearance in the show.
Yeah, get some more Jawas.
Yeah, Tatooine native Jawas this time, because last time we saw him it was on a different world, wasn't it? And then this time it's like, yep, here they are. Because remember that last series I was like, hang on, we're not on Tatooine, are we? It's like, no, well, I guess that makes sense. Like, if Jawas just sort of like set up shop on each planet and do their thing and travel and collect junk and sell it, and
with their big stupid sand crawlers,
big fuck off sand crawlers, which saves Cobb Vanth, because we learned that was it after the Empire fell, after the second Death Star was blown up, there was a guard troop from, because they're not Imperial, are they?
They're called the Mining Consortium or something. It's basically a group of like enforcers for a mining company who are like, all right, well, we're taking this town now. Now they essentially we're going to take it.
They take advantage of the fact that like Imperial rule has obviously affected the town in some way.
Yeah.
And the moment the Empire are defeated, they go, right, well, now's our chance to literally just step into that gap and take charge. And is he the Marshal yet? Or is he appointed Marshal on his return?
I think he's sort of I think it mentions that he is or was in the Aftermath novels.
Yeah.
But I think he just escapes and then... But I don't know if they made him Marshal. Yeah, it's not necessarily clear if he was before or not.
But we know that he buggers off out of town because he's like, if I just kick off a fight, I'm going to get killed.
Yeah.
I'm going to get the shit out of here and figure it out. But natural events in all bloody adventure serials set in a desert lead to him nearly dying of thirst after days travelling alone in the desert winds and all that good shite. And then the Sandcrawler finds him. He gets brought aboard. And they give him shelter and they give him food in exchange for the crystalline power supply that he nicked before he left from the mining people's vehicle. Because he sort of takes that, doesn't he? So they can't like drive after him or delay them repowering their weaponry. So he trades that with the Jawas in exchange for shelter and then gives them the rest in exchange for a curiosity that they have amongst their junk. A series of armor plates from a Mandalorian garb, including the helmet and chest and shoulder plate and jetpack.
Yep.
Goes back to the town and in a pretty decent scene just kicks the arse of all of the miners who've taken over.
Yep.
And protects everybody. And you're like, this is wonderful because people who've never seen Return of the Jedi will still just get that this is badass and cool. And they'll go, look at how cool he looks in that helmet. Isn't this great? Isn't this awesome? And everybody who's grown up with that movie's going, oh, Boba got out! Boba got out! He got out! He got out! And it's like the Aftermath novels talk about, like, the armor is not in a good nick. Like, it's still Beskar, so it's deflecting there's laser fire and it's protected him.
The Aftermath trilogy sort of leaves a bit of ambiguity as to whether Boba himself is still alive.
Yeah, or whether or not the Sarlacc just spat the armor out at some point. But it's there and it's working good enough. So they set a trap. Two Mandalorians, the townsfolk, after some big convincing speeches from the Marshal and from the Mandalorian. And with the Tusken Raiders, they set a trap for the thing where they're going to blow up its underbelly as it crawls towards bait out of its tunnel. And it seems like the first scene here and then the finale, like the third act, like attempted trap, where I forget that this is a TV show with a TV show's budget.
Yeah.
Like an American TV show's budget, so, you know, and genre, so a bit bigger than your average
Disney budget.
Yeah, I mean, it's still going to cost a lot, but it's not going to, like, think about it. A Big Bang Theory final series episode technically would have had more money spent on it due to just, like, fees and availability and stuff.
I guess.
And this is like movie level visual effects and imagery, and it looks phenomenal. Like, it looks so good. Mm-hmm. It's so well directed.
Well,
beautiful.
All the Krayt Dragon fight stuff is filmed in IMAX.
Oh yes, because there's a really subtle ratio shift, isn't there? Like it's sort of like almost very gently star wipes into position, and then it like eventually. Oh yeah, that was good. Damn.
Yeah.
See, Nolan, that's how you do it. You make it visually happen on screen really slowly in a way that isn't distracting.
Nice.
That was beautiful.
It's
a lot of reaction shots from the child in this. The child doesn't get much to do in this apart from just react and be adorable. But sometimes it's all you need from Baby Yoda.
That is all you need. That's all you need. The Krayt.
What do you think of the way?
Sorry.
No, go on. Go on.
I will say that I was wrapped by this episode, and there's the moment where you see the Krayt Dragon unleash its long range attack.
Yeah,
it was just like because I wasn't expecting it. It was just like whoa, literally let out an audible whoa
as it spewed like steaming globs of orange vomit from its mouth.
It was just so epic.
And they leave it. They shoot it in a way that it leaves it unclear whether or not that's like stomach acid and it's melting the troopers or
it is
melting the people. Yeah, well, they never linger long enough to give a child watching a nightmare, and it's like, oh, that's clever. Oh, that's gruesome. That is so horrible. I just thought, like, seeing the size of it and how quick it moves once it knows it's under attack. It's like, how you die just from that stuff landing on you. Never mind what it does to you. Like that much liquid from a height that and, nasty.
We get a good old Jonah and the whale moment as well,
that's such great brilliant, so good.
It's really
like Cobb's don't want to leave the Mando to do something stupid, so he uses apparently a defect these jetpacks have, because we saw it in Return of the Jedi.
Just that jetpack specifically. Boba Fett's jetpack.
What, you knocked into it? Oh shit! Well, I guess you're being fired at something now. Goodbye. And it happens here. He knocks it, and off he flies. He's like, protect the kid. And he takes the bantha that's covered in explosives and stays there long enough to be eaten by the dragon. And then zaps it, and its gob gets spat out and explodes the bantha. Poor bantha, bloody hell. It's just so the action, the look of it all is beautiful, and just again the Western thing at the end of like, I hope I see you again. Me too. But it's like this whole thing of like, our paths will cross again at some point, like next season maybe. But like, and he's true to his word. Some people get they start carving the meat off of the dragon immediately.
Boy, do they!
And then they find the pearl. The townspeople now know that the Sand People, unless provoked, are going to leave them alone. That they make that bargain that like the Sand People won't attack the town or try and raid the town ever, unless like it'll be broken the moment any of you do shit to us.
Yeah,
and it's like good, well done. Don't give them a free pass, but at least give yourselves like some respite and a breather.
Yeah.
And Cobb, true to his word, gives Mando the Mandalorian armor, which is where. What we were saying earlier, we're not sure if this is going to turn into a spoiler ongoing thing or whether or not it was just a neat little Easter egg to make you all feel giddy at the end of this episode. But if he's got this Mandalorian armor, surely Mando's now going to try and trace back more, maybe? Like, so where did this come from? And blah, blah, blah. But as he leaves on his speeder, which is, same one from last series used on Tatooine when he was after Ming-Na Wen. And... also, Cobb Vanth's speeder. Can we just take a moment? Oh my god! Oh my god! And it's the fact that so Cobb Vanth's speeder is sort of like the seat of a speeder bike, maybe one of the floating things that the battle droids used to use because it's sort of like a seated thing with a little mount. But it's strapped to an engine on its side. So he's like in a sidecar to this engine, which is the bulk of the vehicle. And the engine is a fucking pod racer engine.
I think it's one of Anakin's.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's got the circular end with the little sort of beak in the middle of the fan. And it's got two of the big yellow panels on the front. Because the majority, the bulk of it's like a red mix of a few different things. But it's like, the front of that is Anakin Skywalker's pod.
Yeah.
Like, the front of that is the pod racer that Anakin was driving in Phantom Menace. Because of course it is. They'd have been finding shit like this out in the deserts of Tatooine and turning it into new tech.
Oh, yeah.
Of course they'd be doing that. That makes sense, and it's not... They don't do anything with it. There's no musical sting. There's no hero shot of this vehicle. It's just... Wait a minute. No.
No, because it's sort of...
No.
It's sort of buried in the moment that's sort of a humorous mind's bigger than yours.
Yeah.
Gag with Cobb just sort of sidling up to Mando on his enormous speeder bike. So it's kind of
as Mando's
in that gag, which is neat.
It's like a little joke down the back of the sofa.
Yeah.
But you'd feel that if it was prodding you. But as Mando's driving away, Matthew, and the episode is about to hit its conclusion, what the heckington do they leave us with? What mental image do they leave us with before we all turn off for the night?
It pulls back to reveal a robed figure watching Mando from a distance, who turns so the camera can see his face, and it is the face of Tamura Morrison, who played Jango Fett in the prequel series, and all the clone troopers, and of course Jango's son/clone, Boba Fett. Now, of course, he doesn't play Boba physically in the originals trilogy, but they've
since
redubbed
the prequel trilogy.
Yeah, since the prequel trilogy, they've redubbed his lines. And so, Tamura Morrison, Boba Fett, on Tatooine, confirmed.
Bald as a coot, slightly scarred. It looks like his eyebrows have gone.
It looks like he's been fucked up, yeah.
Yeah, well, partially digested in a Sarlacc pit at some point.
Over a course of 1,000 years.
Yeah, and he's got... What's great is he's sort of got like a spear and a... What looks like kind of a gun or a rifle or something like mounted on his back.
Yeah, it looks like he's probably been scavenging off Tuskens. And
the butt of the long gun is the barrel of his like sort of rifle.
Oh,
Boba's
I didn't
rifle.
catch that. That's
It's
neat.
I don't know if I can bring the toy out now. It's all a bit wibbly, but yeah, it's got this very distinct.
I know the
like,
rifle you mean.
barrel. Yeah. And it was
That's
like,
neat.
oh, that's a nice toy. Like it's not the full thing; it's just like the tip of it. It's like, of course it would be.
Of course,
because Cobb's not got the weapons. He's just got the. He's just got the stuff
the
that's
armor
in the
and the weapon. Well, the weapons are built into the armor. Yeah, but that makes the interesting thing about if Boba meets Mando
is that Boba's not a Mandalorian.
Well, he is a Mandalorian technically,
Well,
but he's not
he's a
been
spin-off
raised as
from a
part of the
Mandalorian.
Creed. Yeah, He's a clone of a
And
Mandalorian.
Also, Django was ejected from the Creed, wasn't he? He was.
I'm not sure what Django's
exiled.
backstory.
Oh, he's in the new
but,
canon. Yeah.
Well, I imagine most of that stuff is still canon, but I never really got into the whole thing with Django, so I'm not sure.
As far as I'm aware, correct me if I'm wrong, listeners, bigdomcontact@gmail.com. As far as I'm aware, he was exiled from the Creed. So hence why he's doing some shady shit on Camino to earn his way.
Well, they do get into some. They do get into a lot of Mandalorian stuff in the Clone Wars series, so I should probably catch up on that at some point.
Especially because the earlier clones steal, like a Mandalorian visual sort of look, like the clones in Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Have that like the T-visor, and it's like, oh dear. Which of course is all a callback to Boba Fett's origins, because his original design was as a sort of a one-off super trooper. Essentially, he was going to be like one of the a heavy hitter for the Imperial forces. Because and you can find they've done a bunch of toys of him since. They always call it prototype armor. It's basically just a white Boba Fett. So the clone's design in Django was obviously a callback to what George originally pictured Boba Fett being like and doing. It's like, okay, but yeah, he alive. Will he come back or will he not? You know what? I'm happy either way. If he doesn't come back after this, I'm like, what a cool little nugget at the end to be like, oh, Boba's alive and on Tatooine and doing his thing. And we might do something with him later. Yeah.
What's his thing that he's doing?
Well, I remembered Ming-Na Wen's character in the last series, the last story on Tatooine, her body is approached by someone at the end. There's someone in boots and a long robe at the bottom of the boots approaches the body.
Shit!
And in this, when we see him, he's in a long fucking like cape, a long robe over his clothes.
Shit!
So, maybe it was Boba out in the arse end of nowhere, getting up to shenanigans. So yeah. If he does come back though, that'll be interesting to see. It's the first episode of the series. Maybe he will tie into the arcing narrative of this series, and we'll see him again. But maybe not, because they do tend to jump from planet to planet in the show to keep it fresh, so you're not stuck in the same spot. So
yeah.
You know, Boba ain't traveling out into space anytime soon, because he would have done it sooner. So yeah, I just thought it was quite cool because Boba Fett is a character whose entire longevity as a merchandisable aspect of the Star Wars franchise is based solely off of the fact that he looks cool. Like I adore Boba Fett, but I acknowledge that he is, in the films we've had him in, a fucking useless character. Like, he's intimidating an Empire, and then in Jedi is proved to just be good looking, and that's it. Like, that's all he's got. He looks cool. So the idea that the Mandalorian has obviously now given us a Mandalorian character as fans to go, yeah, they're pretty badass, and they look the fucking same. So
yeah.
We get it. We get more Boba Fett without getting Boba Fett. The same way that I think we all did like Django a little bit in Attack of the Clones, because it was like, we're getting more Boba Fett, kind of. So,
and, you know, after, 30, 40, nearly 40 years,
yeah,
we finally got an answer to the question. Boba Fett, where?
On Tatooine!
He's there!
Son.
He's there!
So, yeah, it's cool to know that even Boba himself kind of gets to enjoy his mythology a little bit by being part of a cool season opener for this show. I can't wait to see where this is going. I really can't wait to see.
I'm jazzed.
Oh, it makes me happy.
And I really
tried to
can't
convince
wait
a friend this
to
week.
see Rosario Dawson pop up as Ahsoka Tano.
Ahsoka Tano in live action. That's the thing I'm excited about. Like, seeing a fan favorite animated character finally making a debut.
Yes.
On screen, in vision.
I'm down
as a practical
for it.
Costume and effect. Like, that will hopefully be really freaking cool. Have we had any emails this week, Squire? Or has it been a quiet one?
I'll tell you what we have had.
Oh.
I'll tell you what we have had. We've had a return.
A bill. Oh.
A return.
Of Boba Fett? Boba Fett!
From... a return from our Doctor Who correspondent. It's Sam. They're back.
Sam.
And they've got things to say. He says, "Hello, my friends. I'm back again, and I have 2 stories to review. The Invasion and the Curse of Peladon."
Wait, why those 2? What's the connection?
No. The Invasion is the best thing I've ever seen with the Second Doctor. Episode 4 is the best, and the Cybermen are not in it a lot.
Yeah,
the Curse of Peladon is great
they're
too.
They're best when they're held back. Just launch straight into boom.
I'm hoping I get the right number of vowels here. John Pertwee is the best Doctor. Or is he? Is it Peter Davison or Patrick Troughton or Hartnell or McGann? Are those the only choices? And we are done for this week. Next time we are Tiny in Planet of Giants. Goodbye. I love it. Keep doing what you're doing.
The Invasion is fucking great, to be fair. It is pretty great. It's also the first appearance of the Brigadier as the Brigadier as well.
Yes,
so that's nice.
Colonel Lethbridge Stewart in Web of Fear.
Yes, yeah. And the United Nations Intelligence Task Force, although I don't think they refer to it. Oh, no, they do refer to it as that. That's in the Invasion. Yeah, because their base is in it's in an airplane hangar in a big plane.
Yeah, because I think they were already toying with the idea of them being recurring characters. Even
they were
that far
testing
out.
It.
Yeah.
So they were testing the water.
Which is neat. And finally, to finish, we've got a little missive. We've got a little missive.
Is it from Agador? Is it from Agador?
It's not from Agador.
Karun. No, okay.
It's from Alpha Centauri. No, it's not from Alpha Centauri
wonderful. Is it from that freaking weird skull in a fridge with a little hatch at the top?
Ow, bongo! No, it's from Zippy.
That's what happened to Max Capricorn from Voyage of the Damned. Eventually, he just rots and turns into that.
This one comes from just I don't know what his relationship is with the show exactly, but we'll just call him Ian. He's signed himself off as your humble torturer. So I think that's probably the best way to describe his relationship with the show. And it's just a little short missive to say, I saw this as the plot to Venom 2, and it's just a must for Matt to read out live to Chris. Now, being the comic book ignoramus that I am, could it please be explained to me, as I'm very confused how this relates to Venom? And he sent us a screenshot of a little blurb that's going around for Venom 2.
Let there be carnage.
And I'm going to tell it, and it says, Academy Award nominated actor Tom Hardy returns to the big screen as the lethal protector Venom, one of Marvel's greatest and most complex characters.
Oh dear.
Let's unpack that a little bit. One of Marvel's greatest and most complex characters.
Nope. Now, unless they're referring to the symbiote, because to be fair, the symbiote's been up to a lot of shit with different people and had different roles over the years, but Eddie Brock Venom? I'm a bad guy. I'm kind of a good guy. I don't want to be a bad guy anymore. Someone else be me. Oh no, I'm a good guy in a white suit. And now I'm the bad guy again. There you go.
I'm the bad guy in the suit.
I'd say that his story is about as complex and layered as an armless, headless, legless thing rolling down the street like a turd in the wind. Oh dear.
Like a turd.
I like Venom, the character. I have a favourite. I like the Flash Thompson version, the like secret agent special
Venom.
ops character used by the US government, and the idea of basically like a drug that makes you powerful and restores your legs and makes you want to, it gives you everything you wish you could still be doing after leaving the army and being, like having your life affected by losing limbs, and then the battle with that addiction.
He attack, but most importantly, his legs grow back.
Yes! Oh, brilliant! Brilliant! Oh my god. That's really good.
You can't beat it. You can't beat that.
God,
I've won the podcast for this week.
You've won, and we've done. Ladies and gentlemen,
yes.
Get in touch with the show. We want to know what your thoughts are on Mando episode 1 and 2 by next week. So let us know.
Mando.
That is, of course, if the world still exists next week, but we kind of hope it does because, like, you know, we want to reach 300 at least.
Quick election update. There is no update.
Hey!
Not since the start of our recording, anyway.
But there are updates every Monday and Friday on twitch.tv/BigDamnStream, where Matt plays a game from 7 to 80, and I'm modding the chat, tickling his pickles. We also can be found on YouTube. Everything we ever make and put out in video form can be found on the Big Damn channel over on YouTube, and of course we're on Twitter at BigDamnCast. You can hit us up whenever you like. But until then, I'll leave you with these wise worms. I'll send them out to each of you individually.
Just feed them the wisest soil, and they shall furnish you with all the stocks for just £1.
Wise soil.
That's what I call my poop.